Yeah, me too. And they said that to me for 19 years. And what they didn't understand is once I knew what those people knew, I would have what those people have. See, that's the bottom line to things, is that you've got to follow people that have what you want. When I walked into my first ACN event, I can distinctly remember they were talking about concepts and ideas of getting wealthy I had never heard before. It was like a radical change of mindset than anything that I had been taught prior to walking into this event. Number one, business ownership. Business ownership. 1776. How many of you remember the big war? What was it over? Business owners didn't want to do what? Pay taxes. Everybody remember that? 1776, right? Who wrote the tax law? Business owners. Guess what? Don't fight them. Join them. How many of you love the fact that ACN allows us to own our own business? Yeah. I am a walking, talking tax deduction. Anyone know what I'm talking about? See, you have all those advantages. Now, that's radically different than you were taught in school. Right or wrong? See, right? Think about that. Kindergarten to 12th grade. Can we agree? 16,000 hours. Nobody talked to you about the tax system in this country, yes or no? Although you were in school based on public tax dollars, educating you without talking to you about one of the most important things that you and I need to know, which was what? The tax system. Now, how many of you agree? I know what a dangling participle is. Does that make you any money? I'm not here to knock education, but I am here to say that financial education is something that the American public needs, yes or no? Yes. Is to think like a business owner. Second thing I heard coming to this first event is they talked about the efforts of other people. See, it never even occurred to me to make money off the efforts of other people. See, how many of you agree? Nobody would know who Jeff Bezos was if he had 5 employees. The reason you know that name is because he has hundreds of thousands of people making his family money 24 hours a day. How many of us want to be in his situation? Welcome to ACN. Welcome to ACN. You have the exact same opportunity that he has to build global distribution and make a percentage of every single customer your organization brings in, no matter how big or how small. You're going to get a piece of that. And the third thing is making money 24 hours a day. How many of us would agree that today in the world we live in, inflation's going up faster than people's incomes? Yes or no? Right? People are literally working multiple jobs just to keep up with inflation. I'm not talking about getting rich, I'm talking about paying their bills. How many of you know people that are moving from different parts of the country just so that they can afford to live? Right or wrong? That they say, look, I can't even afford to live here anymore. You know, I lived in New York City. I watched people leave in New York because they couldn't even afford to pay for parking. They couldn't afford to pay $20 to go over a bridge. On an average day, I would spend anywhere between $20 and $50 in just getting around. So imagine waking up in the morning and taking $50 out of your pocket and giving it to somebody, and you got nothing in return except for the opportunity to go across the bridge or go through a tunnel. Now, because I'm a business owner, that was a tax deduction. But 97% of those people in that city, that was called an expense that they couldn't write off. See, I'm sharing these ideas with you because when I walked into this event, it radically changed my life. And it radically changed my life because of the law of association. How many of you agree, show me who you hang out with, I'll predict your future. Tell me what you're doing on the evenings and the weekends, I'll tell you where you're going. See, people tell me, oh, he's an engineer. I know what an engineer makes. Matter of fact, all that information's on the internet, yes or no? Tell me, oh, he's a doctor, great, medical doctor, I know what they make. I know what everybody makes based on averages of those occupations. So when somebody tells me, oh, this guy does this or this girl does that, great, I know what they make. But if you tell me what they're doing with their spare time, if you tell me what they're doing on their weekends, I will predict where they're going to be over the next 3 to 5 years. See, that's what this business is about, is really getting people to think differently than any way they thought before. And look, I fall in love with ACN every time I get an opportunity to meet other business owners. How many of you here, by a show of hands, have owned a business in the past or currently own a business now, by a show of hands? How many of us would agree ACN is business ownership fantasy land? You wake up on the first of the month and they throw more money at you to go out and get more services. What did you do? Nothing. You woke up. How many of us love that? Then you didn't have to worry about where's the money coming from. You didn't have to worry about where are we going to get this extra capital to pay people to go out and do what they need to do to build your business. See, this is business fantasy land. I'm in it for $199. Wow. Big investment, right? Big spender. Right or wrong? Think about that. For $199, you get the biggest industries in the world to go after. You get to go head to head with companies that are iconic companies. I love the fact that I get to sell AT&T after they spend $1 billion in advertising. I don't have to explain to you, well, the company's called AT&T. You might not have ever heard of them before, but they're a real big brand. How many of you love the fact that they did all that work for you, all that work for me? All we got to do is build distribution. Now, where does everything start? In the mirror. The place that nobody likes to look, yes or no? Yes. In the mirror. See, here's what you got to do. You've got to work on you. You've got to become a better you. See, my experience in ACN, I watched people come in and transform the person they were that said yes to this opportunity and the person they are when they became a regional director or regional vice president, senior vice president, were radically different than the person they were when they started. How many of you had to develop some new skills? How many of you had to overcome some fears? You know what one of my biggest fears were when I started in ACN? Public speaking. Public speaking. I used to get nervous for the people that were speaking in public. I go, do you know how many people are here? Oh my Lord. Do they know how many people are here? Like, you know, I'm not even speaking. And I remember the day that they asked me to come up and give a testimonial. Not a training, a testimonial. And I don't know why I did it, but I walked up and I had a glass of water. I don't know if I thought I was at the club or if I maybe it's like a comfort, you know, so I had it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I was thinking. So I go up and, hi, my name's Patrick May, I'm from Pennsylvania, right? And I sat back down and, you know, my mentor came up to me and he said, great job. You did a great job. Oh, thank you. He's like, next time you might want to leave the water behind. We saw it shaking. They could literally see the water shaking from the back of the room. Now, you laugh, I wasn't laughing. That wasn't a funny situation for me, right or wrong. But the next time what happened? I became a little better. And the next time what happened? I became a little better. And the same thing's gonna happen for everybody you bring into this opportunity. This is a personal development course with a compensation plan. See, here's my experience. People that get money given to them, it's the curse of money. How many of you know somebody or read about somebody that won the lottery? Right? The worst thing that ever happened to them. They talk about, how did you win $50 million and it's the worst thing that ever happened to you? Because their money was greater than they were. See, their personal development was here and the money was here. And what happened? The money eventually came back down to who they are. See, I believe personally, it's about you becoming a better human being, working on you, overcoming fear, overcoming anxiety, overcoming situations we all have. None of us come into this thing thinking, oh, I'm going to be the best, and I'm going to be the top, and I'm going to go to all these positions. We all hope those things can happen, but we've got to work on that internal conversation. What's the internal conversation is you can do this. And how did I get through some of those challenges just like you? By doing what you're doing here this morning. See, if you spend enough time with other people that are where you want to be, eventually you're going to be where they're going to be. It just the way it works. So I never missed a training. I never missed an event. I couldn't wait to come to these events. I was literally shaking every time, knowing that I would come out of these events different than I walked into it. So expect that to happen for you here today. And as you hear the trainers, see yourself as one of the trainers. As you hear people speak, see yourself as one of the speakers. When you see that regional vice president promotion, see yourself as one of those individuals that'll be on this stage sharing your story and making a difference in not only your life, but the lives of other people. See, here's the benefit of our opportunity is you're influencing other people. How many of us would agree I'm the first person? Now think about it, I don't know if you're in the same situation, but we were the first people, Mike and I, in our family ever to own a business. We broke that chain of working for other people. Now can we agree from us down, my children are not going to work for somebody else. If my kid comes home and says, Dad, I want to work at a restaurant, no, we buy restaurants. I like that. Yeah, that's how we do. Now, right or wrong, because of why? Mentorship, and I changed my family tree by walking into this event. So that's how passionate I am. I came here out of desperation. I'm here this morning out of inspiration. What can happen to me can happen to any single one of you if you follow the system. Is there work involved here? Absolutely. But I don't consider sharing this gift as work. I consider, putting a roof on a house in August in California, that's work, right? Or landscaping, or paving the road. How many of you ever seen people do that? Right, that's work. This is not work. Inviting people to come look at an opportunity is not work. Now, how do you become better? Is you work on you. Show me what you're reading, I'll predict your future. Show me what you're listening to, I'll predict your future. Show me what event you're going to, I'll predict your future. Show me who you're spending time with, I will predict your future. That's what radically changed our life, was the people we spent time with, the books that we read, the audios we listened to, and the events we went to. Now, let's jump into the training here today, and I want to go through and just give you a little insight on, this is working here. I want to talk about distribution. And that's the key to what we do, is distribution. See, the first thing you got to do is you got to schedule what we call a Zoom meeting. Every single one of us here today have to schedule a Zoom meeting. And the reason for that is we want to start to launch your business. Now, you're going to be excited leaving here. Take advantage of that excitement when you walk out of here. And the first thing is that desire I talked about. It's the starting point of all great achievements. I think the other exciting thing about this is when you take a look at, some of the iconic companies over the years, companies like Walmart, companies like McDonald's. If you study their success, these individuals literally found a great idea and just duplicated that idea. They didn't come up with the burgers, Ray Kroc. They didn't come up with stores, Sam Walton. They came up with the concept of distribution, of building global distribution. Well, you and I want to do the same thing here today. Now, the second thing you want to do is you want to schedule that Zoom meeting. So if you're, working with somebody here in the local community, meaning they're sitting here next to you, or maybe someone that didn't come to this event that's somebody you're working with, text them when you want to do your upcoming launch. Let them know, hey, I want to schedule Monday afternoon. I want to schedule Monday evening. I want to schedule Tuesday. The people that have the most success are the people that do the most Zoom meetings. That's the secret to our opportunity. Whoever does the most Zoom meetings has the most success. Now, I don't know if the clicker's not working here, but I'm paging through the slides and nothing's coming up. You understand what I'm saying, right or wrong? I'm better than any slide. There you go. Look at that. Ray Kroc started, look at that, 1954, right here, San Bernardino, California, right or wrong? Isn't this where Ray Kroc got his start? Yep. Wandered out, drove from Illinois to California. How many of us here would agree? A great drive for him. He had to go check something out. Got on his vehicle, drove out to California because the brothers were selling more milkshakes than anybody ever in his career. He was a milkshake maker salesman. And nobody had ever, in his experience, bought multiple milkshake makers at the same time. So what did Ray Kroc do? Well, I need to see what's going on here. Drove out, saw these two brothers making a living, not a fortune. And Ray Kroc said, did you ever think about multiple stores? We're too busy. How many of you know too busy people? I love when I talk to people, I'm busy. Well, hey, listen, so's a janitor at the high school. He's busy too. And so's Bill Gates. The difference is Bill Gates busy making a fortune, the janitor's busy paying his bills. What are you busy doing? And Ray Kroc said, let me unburden you. I'll take on the McDonald's opportunity, and exploded it around the world. Today they feed 1% of the world. How many of us agree McDonald's got a great program? Product's not the best, but can we agree they got a great product, a great program, yes or no? Duplication. Now, let's talk about scheduling that event. See, I literally yesterday took time to call every new person, welcome them to the team, and schedule their Zoom meeting. Hey Bob, welcome to the team. Great to have you here. Is Monday or Tuesday better for you for your event? Well, I think Tuesday. How's 6 o'clock on Tuesday? Sounds good. Okay, great, Bob. I got you in my calendar. Now the work begins. Everybody clear on that? Now the work begins. Second thing I did is we got to build a list. We got to build the biggest list of people that we know. Now, all of you know hundreds and hundreds of people. You're meeting people every single day. There's no limit to how many people you and I can meet or how many people we can invite, but you've got to build a list. Now, there's 3 types of people I look for. First type of person, business owners. How many of us agree business owners are looking to go online? Yeah, right? Yeah. Brick and mortar is being replaced with click and order, yes or no? Yes. Right? How many of you agree every business owner in the country right now is looking for ways that they can create additional revenue outside of investing in something that's brick and mortar? Now, people ask me, how did you get thousands and thousands of credit card processing customers? Did you go door to door? Did you go to the mall? Did you hand out flyers? No, I invited business owners to the presentation. I had one gentleman who owns a medical facility who literally has $50,000 a month in credit card processing. You know what he said at the end of the presentation? Let me get this straight. If I sign up, I can get paid on my own bill. That's called Common Sense 101. How many of you like that? Right now, just to give you an idea, how many of you here this morning have been in a business in the past or currently in a business now by a show of hands? Could you put them up real high? Look around the room. What do you see? I see a lot of business owners. That's the number one person I go after, business owner. Number two, people who have done network marketing. Look, there's 1,000 companies that sell something, yes or no? If there's one company that sells nutritionals, how many of us agree there's 10,000 companies that sell nutritionals? Yep. Right or wrong? I mean, it's a crowded space. But if you think about services, we are the only company in the world that are selling services around the world. We have no competition. How many of you love the fact that nobody else is doing what you're doing? Nobody's saying, well, what about ABC company? There is no ABC company, right? Could you imagine being a product-based company and go, what's the difference between your product and the thousands of other products? Now you got to be a scientist, yes or no? You got to be literally a lab technician. Here, it's services they need, services they want. Third type of person, happy people. Happy people. Shayla Smith, happy person. Talk to Shayla for 5 minutes, you'll see, you'll get happy just talking to her. See, I love happy people. Happy people attract people to what we do. And then the final person is real estate. Let me tell you about real estate. Anybody in real estate should do ACN. It goes hand in glove. If you don't serve your client, somebody else will. If you're not going to go the extra mile, somebody else will go the extra mile. Right or wrong? Yes or no? How many of you bought a house in your lifetime? Yeah. Would you not appreciate if your real estate professional said, let me help you get all your services? I don't even need you to worry about that part. You got a lot on your mind right now. We got a lot of things happening. Let us help you get those services. See, it is going wildfire around the United States right now of real estate professionals jumping into ACN so that they can get a piece of a bill that every single house that they sell has to have. Or what about real estate investors? How many of you agree? They didn't get in real estate investing because they had nothing else to do. They got into it to make money. If they can make additional money on the services that their clients have to take when moving into a property, doesn't it make common sense 101? I love the real estate industry because they're jumping into what we do with both feet. Now, invite, invite, invite. That's your goal. Invite. Now remember, the more people you invite, the more success you and I are going to have. And so when I take the time to invite people, let me see if I can go back one. Yep. Schedule an event. Use the words at work. Do you look at other ways of making money? Do you look at other ways of making money? Ask your neighbor, do you look at other ways of making money?
Do you look for other ways of making money?
Ask your other neighbor, do you look at other ways of making money?
Do you look for other ways of making money?
All right, you got it. Now here's what's interesting. Last week, the Rolling Stones were in Charlotte, North Carolina. Guess what songs they played last week in Charlotte, North Carolina? The same songs they've been playing for 30 years, yes or no? I can't get right or wrong. Now, they've made hundreds of millions of dollars, and guess how they've done it? Singing the same song. Guess what your song is? Do you look at other ways of making money? Do you look at, wait, do it fast, do you look at other ways of making money? From New York? Yo, dude, you look at other ways of making money? You're down south, hey y'all. You look at other ways of making money? See, that's your song. And you can become great at your song, and that song can set you up financially to be free. People mistake me for an intelligent person all the time. Come to my house, got Bentleys in my driveway, live in a big home, people, smart guy lives there. No. A guy that can say, do you look at other ways of making money? I say it to the lawn man, I say it to the pool guy, I say it to the FedEx, the Amazon person, it don't matter who you are. Hey dude, outside of what you do you look at other ways of making money? Great, so do I. And then I immediately start to edify. Hey, we've got a gentleman that I'm working with. His name's Harsh Patel. He's incredibly successful. He's a multi-business owner. Tomorrow he's going to be sharing with me what he's doing. I'd love to invite you to meet him. Have you used Zoom yet? Oh, great. You know how it works. Excellent. I'll send you a link. Can't wait for you to meet Harsh. Can I put you down for coming? And that's it. You don't have to be the explainer. You don't have to be the one doing the presentation. Let somebody else go to work for you. Yeah. Now, here's my experiences. 20-minute event, edification. Edification means to build up, to talk good about, to build the credibility of your presenter. If you're working with Ken and Susie Potter, they're amazing. Multi-business owner, regional vice president, super successful. It's easy to talk good about people. But trust me when I tell you this, most people don't talk good about people. So you're saying things that are different than most people ever heard before. And I'll give you an example. What if I were to call you up and said, hey, listen, I'm doing a meeting in my house. It's going to be on the trash business. Yeah, we're going to have a trash truck in front of my house. We're going to have a dumpster in front of my house. We're going to have some trash cans. Come on in. You can get a good smell of everything. It'll be really exciting. I can't wait for you to come. I'm getting in the trash business. Get on to my living room. Let's hear all about the trash business. How many of you are excited to come to my house? Now, what if I were to say to you, hey, listen, I'm doing a meeting in my house. It's about the trash business. The gentleman that's giving the presentation, his name is Wayne Huizinga. He started a company called Waste Management, made billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in the trash business. Do you want to meet him? What changed? The person. Everybody clear on that?
Yeah.
You went from, I absolutely don't want to hear anything about trash, to what time does the meeting start? What changed? The presenter. See, the way you build the presenter is the way people listen to the presenter. I spend more time talking about the presenter than I do anything else, because that's all that matters. You got to meet this individual. They're incredibly successful. I don't even know how I got 20 minutes of their time that I did. Now, I'm only calling a handful of people, and I thought about you. You always had a great personality. You always had a good outlook on life. Do you have 20 minutes tomorrow at 6 o'clock to meet my presenter? Great. I'll give you a confirmation call. Somebody from his office is going to call to confirm. Make sure you get all the information. Can't wait to see you there. Now, be a professional. Introduce the speaker. A couple things that I'll share with you. We're in the Zoom world, folks. First of which, camera's got to be on. Your camera got to be on. You got to have lights behind you. You've got to be as professional as humanly possible online. How many of us agree that element of touching people is taken away on Zoom? Yeah. So we've got to be over the top. You've got to have great lighting. I remember my first Zoom meeting, I didn't think people could see behind me. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Right? And so we had to learn. We had to evolve. And the same thing happens for you. So you want to be as professional as possible. Introduce the people as they come in. Bob, you made it, man. So happy Bob's here. Bob is great. He's an insurance guy. I'm so happy. Mary works at Amazon. Hey, Mary, glad you made it. Hey, Tom's a friend of mine. Tom, glad you made it. You've got to get that Zoom moving. Does that make sense? You've got to start talking to people, get them interacting before the meeting starts. And about 5 or 6 minutes after the time you said it was going to start, you go, okay, guys, well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Let's get things started and introduce your presenter and make a big deal about your presenter. Man, at the end of that meeting, we're going to do what's called a breakout room. Customer's going to go, hey, you want to be a customer, you want to be a rep? That's the only 2 questions I asked. Do you see yourself partnering up and making money with us? Or do you see yourself maybe benefiting on a service? Where do you see yourself here today? And let them tell you. Is everybody going to do what we do? Absolutely not. But everybody can be a customer. And guess what we get paid on? Customers. So I'm okay if somebody says, hey, look, it ain't for me, but my cousin Bob seems pretty excited about this, and if I can help with a couple services, why not? Let's take a look at some of those services and see what we could benefit you on. And the final part is you have to have a big why. Look, it's easy to do, but it's easier not to do. Easy to come to California, easier not to come to California. You know that there's some people that didn't make it here today because they had a garage that needed straightened out. Yes or no? I had people couldn't come, oh, my kid's playing football. Well, let me ask you a question. Did the coach pull you aside and say in his entire career of coaching, he's never met anyone like your son? If that didn't happen, you're probably going to have to pay for his college. And are you prepared? And if you're not prepared, you need to get here. I watch parents put so much pressure on their kids. I'm like, why don't you put the pressure on you? Why don't you put the pressure? Why isn't your kid inspired by what mom did? Inspired by what dad did? Not, got to go to practice. Oh, you got to be the best, right? I'm 7. Like, dude, leave me alone. I'm 7. There's a 1 in 16,000% chance I could get paid for what I'm doing today. 1 in 16,000% that I can make $1 off of what I'm doing. See, understand that your dream and my dream is have to have a big why. Mike and I was to help our parents financially. That was my first dream in ACN. I never even thought about making enough money to take care of my parents. Never even occurred to me I should be helping them financially. I can remember my father saying, man, you know, I'm going to be semi-retired. What's that mean? It means you still work. Can't be semi-pregnant. Semi-married, married but I date. It's one or the. It's just a nice way of making him feel better about the fact that even though he should be retired, he had to work. wasn't financially prepared, raised 4 kids, anyone know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Lived on less, gave us more, right? Never said no to anything to us. Ended up at the end of their career, didn't have enough money to retire. Came into this business and it occurred to me for the first time that I could do something about it. All I had to do was invite people. See, I love my parents more than watching TV. I love my parents more than going to sporting events. I love my parents more than happy hour. I love my parents more than hanging out with my buddies talking about nonsense. I love my parents enough to come to these events, take great notes, and take a lot of action. I love my parents that much. And so you've got to get that same reason. And if you have children, that's your reason. Or you love your spouse and don't want to see them backing out of that driveway at 7 a.m. anymore. We're going to do something about it. We're going to go live life on our terms. Season of your life. It is one season of your life. ACN is not a lifetime commitment. You know, my dad did 33 years at a pharmaceutical company that left him with nothing. There was no pie in the sky. He didn't go to that first meeting at the pharmaceutical company. He said, if you work hard and you push and you drive, someday you can be on the other side of money. That never came out of anybody's mouth at that meeting. You know what they said? If you work real hard and you give a lot of your years, we'll pay your bills. That was it. And so the reason I'm passionate about this is the opportunity you have here today to go out and do whatever you want to do. So I hope you take this weekend in. I hope you take great notes. I hope you make a decision. I hope you're ready to run out of here today, put everything else on the sideline, and go get wealthy with us. And not just wealthy financially, wealthy in personal development, wealthy in relationships. How many of you would agree these are some of the greatest human beings you're ever going to meet? My best friends I found in this business. Why? We have a common future together, not a common past. Look, I love my buddies, but not enough to stay broke with them. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Love them, not enough to be broke with them. Hey, listen, great to see you. Best of luck to you. But I'm going to go hang out with people that are going where I'm going, not where I've been. And so understand your job and my job is to go out and share this gift with as many people. And I have the gold mine attitude. And let me tell you what that is. That means you got to shovel some dirt to find some gold. And let me tell you what dirt in ACN is the no's. The not interested. My cousin didn't think this is a good idea. I don't want to hear about that. I'm not interested in the dirt. I'm not interested in the person who want to do it. I'm interested in the Cody right here in the front who's crushing it. First 30 days. That's one. The Jeff Goldstein, the Al Bellington. That's one. They're the gold. That's who I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about the 29 people that told me no or this ain't going to work. That's called dirt. Could you imagine going to a gold mine and they said there's gold in these hills in California and all you got to do is shovel through some dirt to find some gold? Could you imagine the first one? Nothing. Nothing. Hey, I didn't do nothing. Hey, Bob, nothing. Mom, I shoveled some dirt, didn't find any gold. One shovel. What would your mom say? Get down and shovel more dirt. Not interested. Dirt. My cousin thinks it's a bad idea. Dirt. Hey, my best friend told me not to do it. Dirt. That's called dirt. Don't talk about the dirt. Don't focus on the dirt. Focus on the gold. That is the Melissa Street. Gold. That is the Jet Street. Gold. The Monica Bernardino. Gold. That's who you're looking for. Now, guys, I have the distinct honor of bringing an individual up